everybody. Welcome to Super Breakfast Friends Club.
For some reason, that name sounded wrong, but no, it's right.
It's
and
right.
We're just already off to a good start.
Happy Christmas. Did I just say Happy Christmas?
Having yourself a Christmas.
This is a special surprise Christmas episode.
Surprise Christmas episode? It's Christmas. How is it surprising or special?
Because by this point we've gone like 3 weeks without an episode and everyone probably thinks we're dead.
Oh, well, that's your fault.
That's my fault. Oop.
That's true.
I'm Mike.
I'm not. I'm sorry about that.
And welcome to our very Merry Christmas.
Happy non-denominational winter celebration featuring Mario and friends.
Play the opening!
Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers. Yo, you're in for a treat, so hang on to your seat. Get ready for adventure and remarkable feats. You'll meet Koopas and Troopas, the princess and the others. Hanging with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers to the bridge. I say hooked on the brothers, the brothers.
Everybody knows that Mario is the most Christmas themed of all the supervillains. Supervillains? I meant to say video games.
He could be a supervillain. We don't know what's going on in the alternate universes yet.
We're sure off to a start with this episode,
It's been a time.
hasn't it?
I had to watch this episode twice because when I watched it last night, I was falling in and out of a pain-fueled sleep.
Oh. Awesome.
It was a good time.
This episode first aired on a date that may surprise you very much. Or may
It
not.
wasn't Christmas, was it?
What do you think? Would you want to take a guess?
I'm gonna say it happened in the month of December, but not on Christmas.
Okay. This episode aired October 23rd, 1989,
I love it.
before Halloween.
Ho ho ho! Happy Halloween!
Yeah, it's so weird when I read that. I was like, why? Why are they airing this Christmas-themed episode before Halloween even? Did nobody look at the schedule and think, maybe we should hold that one?
I feel like there's just a large disconnect between the people that created the show and the people that aired it. So they're like, we've made this Christmas episode. It'll be great to launch around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And then the channel is like, Christmas, you say? Anyway, let's just put it in October. We got an opening that we need to fill.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's not like they were short on episodes. There's like 65 of these things.
I'm starting to think that they're just playing 4D chess. Because, like, I watched this episode twice, as previously mentioned,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, this show isn't good, but I think I love it.
Oh, yeah, same. There's something about it, right?
It just tickles some strange and secret part of me.
So this episode has two segments. Koopa Claus is the animated segment, and that is written by Jack Oleska. who is known for writing on New Adventures of He-Man, something called The Bots Master, which I watched the opening to, and I think I might have watched it, but when I was too young to really form proper memories, you know?
Did you say the Butts Master?
I did not, but I wish I did. He also wrote for Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats, which I know I watched a lot. And he wrote something called Beverly Hills Teens.
That's why you were looking that up.
That's why I was texting you screenshots from Beverly
Of
Hills
the-
Teens.
Horrifying baby men.
Yeah, I watched a whole episode. It's weird. But much like this, it's bad and it's weird, but I really enjoyed watching it for some reason. I only watched the one episode, but I would happily watch more. I wish the subject lined up in a way that we could cover it on this show, because there's something about it. Everybody go look up Beverly Hills Teens. It's the weirdest shit. All the characters are like adult bodies with the heads of babies. But it's really well animated. I don't know, something about... The thing is, at first I was just looking for the theme song, but then I watched the theme song and I was like, huh. So then I watched an episode. Anyway. And the live action segment, which is called Little Marios, it was written by Perry Martin, who wrote for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, James Bond
What?
Jr., Captain Planet. But the weirdest part is that then he went on to spend the entire 2000s writing horror documentaries.
I want to know more about this man.
There were loads of them, so I only took note of a couple, but he wrote Harvesting Horror, which was a documentary about Children of the Corn.
Ooh.
And he wrote The Dead Will Walk, which was a documentary specifically for a special edition Dawn of the Dead DVD.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Anyway, episode starts with Little Marios.
So, without the weird celebrity cameo, I loved the live action segments.
Okay, so yeah. This one opens with Mario and Luigi watching a fight on TV while a small child enters from behind with a suitcase. And they know him. The Mario brothers know this kid. And he's apparently running away from home.
Into the Mario Brothers home.
Yes. Okay, so in the beginning, I was thinking, wow, this I really like this setup here, where it's just like a kid that they know. You could imagine it's like the child of a regular client of theirs or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they just get on, or like maybe a kid from the neighborhood who just knows the Mario brothers. And I was like, wow, without a celebrity guest cameo, this is actually like really cute and sweet. And then I thought,
Yeah.
hold on a minute. Is this a celebrity guest cameo?
Was it?
It was.
Oh no!
So I thought the whole time I thought they were calling this kid Ryan, but it's actually Brian Bonsall, who at the time was known for playing the youngest kid on Family Ties.
Oh, okay.
It turns out that I knew him mostly as the main character from the Disney movie Blank Check. And I also know him as the kid who played Worf's son Alexander in Star Trek The Next Generation. So...
So, are all of the live action segments like weird celebrity cameos?
Yeah, I think they are, yeah, mostly.
Oh man.
They might not be. I don't know. We've skipped like 30 episodes to come to this one.
That's true.
And I don't know what happens in all of them, because as I'm pretty sure I said last time, when I used to watch this show as a kid, it was always with the live action parts cut. So I've never really seen the live action stuff before we started covering it for this show. This kid He's clearly He's clearly reading lines written by an adult that he doesn't completely understand.
Yeah. His delivery is a little flat.
He does it with this constant look of extreme, like, concentration / consternation.
Okay, I admit it. I'm lying like a dog. I'm running away from home. Boy, I didn't think I'd crack that easy.
I know it's not exactly fair to critique a child actor,
Oh no.
but I was not sold on his performance.
I also loved how many of his lines began with a very clear awkward pause where you could tell someone off screen was prompting him to start.
Yeah.
I guess that's really it for the beginning of the live action part. Most of the live action stuff happens after the cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was that way last time, but it's that way this time.
I feel like there was like an in-between. Yeah, there was an in-between bit in the last one because weren't there like 2 parts to the episode? Like 2 different episodes?
I don't
Or
remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
It's been quite a long time since we covered Mario. I
It
mean,
has.
we did Super Mario Brothers 3, but the Super Show, this has got to be one of the first things we did, right?
Pretty far back there, yeah.
Probably like March or April that we did this. And that's a million years ago in Breakfast Friends time.
Yeah, some pretendous amount of time.
Well, now it's time for the animated segment, which has its own theme song, so I'm going to play that now.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, it's the Mario Brothers, and plumbing's the game. Found the secret water while working on the drain. Lend the princess a hand in the mushroom land. Join the action with the plumbers, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Now, Evil Koopa and his troopers are up to misbehaving. They kidnapped the princess, mushroom land needs saving. Abusing and confusing, everybody discovers they can't help but be hooked on the brothers.
I love it.
Yeah, the theme song's really good. By the way, since this is kind of removed time-wise from when we're recording it, this week is when the Mario movie trailer came out. And like all the marketing posters and stuff came out. And I love that the posters are making reference to this theme song. I'm really happy about that.
I know you said that, but I had no idea what you were talking about.
What do you mean?
You said something about how it references the show, and I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh, what? When I
Had
sent
no
you the
idea.
posters?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't see what was the reference about it?
No, but to be fair, I didn't look very hard.
The first poster says, "We're the Mario Brothers," and the second poster says, "And plumbing's our game."
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. You didn't read the poster.
The problem is that it's been almost a year since I've heard that song, and you're expecting me to remember these lyrics?
Okay. Well,
I thought I was looking for a visual cue. I'm like, I'm sorry, what about this screams live action Captain Lou Albano?
Well, you didn't ask.
I was at work.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Sorry, I gotta respond to this. I know I'm not supposed to be on my phone right now, but this is about the Mario Brothers. I'm sure you understand.
You could have responded later.
I forgot.
Okay.
Our conversations move very quickly sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So this episode's called Koopa Claus. Did I say that?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm not listening to this show,
No,
even as we record it.
you're not. You don't need to listen to it. You just need to record it. What if we just did this show as a stream of consciousness where neither one of us is having the same conversation? We're both
Isn't
just saying
that what
things.
we already do?
You just responded to me, so clearly not.
We've had this discussion before. I can't actually hear what you're saying. I just sometimes respond accurately.
Quite a lot, actually. We know each other too well, clearly.
That's true.
So this episode opens on a tilted view of a planet for some reason. And it raised so many questions for me.
Like, are there separate planets?
Well,
Did this precede Mario Galaxy
maybe
canonically?
actually, it does kind of look like a galaxy planet because it's not round. It's a weird irregular shape, and it has this giant craggy mountain sticking off one side of it. And for some reason, the camera starts off like rotated, and then it rotates the right way up with a sound effect, and then zooms in on the mountain. And I was like, what was any of that implying?
I guess Santa lives off planet.
I like, why did the camera rotate? Why is the planet a weird shape? Why did they even show us a planet?
How did they dig a hole into a different planet?
There's no need. They should have just opened with a panning shot of an ice field, I feel like. It would have confused me less. But, if I'm a child watching this, I probably don't even think about it. There's just a planet, and I'm just like, okay, there's a planet.
Mm-hmm. I understand everything now because I'm 8 years old, and that's how logic works.
And then that planet never gets mentioned again, but I've forgotten about it, so it's fine.
I had forgotten about it, and I just watched it.
So Koopa is dressed up as Santa to have his Koopas destroy toys because he hates Christmas. And I can't help wondering, if he hates Christmas so much, why has he dressed up as Santa to do this? Why did he build a Nutcracker-themed toy-destroying machine?
I'm sorry, have you never seen How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
I guess I have. But Santa, I don't know, I really didn't get the feeling that Santa was doing it Grinch style. He seems to be going to the source.
Santa?
I meant Koopa.
See, you've fallen for it. You think he's the real Santa.
I guess I did. But was his plan, was he gonna go and actually deal with kids? I thought he just was going after Santa.
Santa, I hate you so much. Look, do you like my cosplay of you?
I don't know, maybe he just likes dressing up. I know I do.
Why did he make Triclyde dress up as Rudolph? Because Triclyde didn't even go with him.
To get us all in the spirit.
I hate Christmas. Let's all get in the Christmas spirit to rile me up.
I've got some hot cocoa and we can sing Christmas carols after.
That'll get me really angry.
We'll destroy Christmas so good.
This is our first time seeing Triclyde in the show. Triclyde is the second boss of Super Mario Bros. 2.
I appreciated the reference.
He's played here by Harvey Atkin, who also plays Koopa. He has like one line.
Yeah, and then we never see him again.
And I don't know why he has handlebars on his heads.
Because he was making them into reindeer.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, the albatrosses also have handlebars on their head.
But why handlebars?
Because he's Koopa! What else is he gonna use?
I don't know.
It's like making a robot friend in space. You use bowling pins and gumball machines.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I could have got some tree branches or something.
No, that's biting too much of the style of the Grinch.
I forgot, I guess, about Koopa's motorbike obsession. Anyway, we go to Mario and his friends, who are knee-deep in a Wrong Turn at Albuquerque joke.
But like dumber.
Yeah.
Mario, I got a funny feeling we are not in Hawaii land.
What's going on, Toad? You were in charge of getting us here.
I guess I made a wrong turn at the last iceberg.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as good, but they were supposed to be in Hawaii land, apparently.
But Toad has duped them into going to the North Pole.
Yeah. Mario is dressed in a Hawaiian shirt and a straw hat. And he is gonna...
entire episode.
Yeah, he's committed to this. No one else is dressed in any kind of Hawaiian-themed outfit. Everyone, like Luigi, is just dressed as Luigi. But Mario has committed to Hawaii. And then he stays committed for the entire episode. It's very
Clearly,
strange.
he wanted it. It is not strange. Excuse me. If I expected to be in Hawaii, you better bet that I would be dressed for Hawaii weather. Maybe I end up in an ice floe and I'm still wearing absolutely no clothes at all. I don't care, because mentally I'm in Hawaii. I get it.
I don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah, you can't rebut it because you know it's the correct answer.
Yeah, I guess. I guess so.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
That's why I thought it was so weird about it. It's the Christmas special episode, and the title character spends the whole episode dressed for Hawaii.
I loved it.
Not even.
It really subverts expectation.
There's no hint of his signature outfit.
Luigi's there.
That's true. Did he ever get miscolored as Mario in this one? I didn't notice
I don't
if he
think
did.
so. Not that I noticed.
No. That was my favorite thing about the last one we watched. They're by a big sign that says North Pole 5 miles. I genuinely thought it said North Pole Smiles until the
Me
princess
too.
read it. Okay, good. Apparently, as she walked up to this sign to read it, they were originally playing Jingle Bell Rock. But we have the edited version where they've taken out the licensed music, so
Oh.
no Jingle Bell Rock for us.
I still enjoyed the soundtrack of this episode.
Oh, of course. Well, it's all Koji Kondo music, isn't it?
Yeah, slightly remixed.
Yeah, it's great. I had completely forgotten about Mario's weird plumber's log entries.
Plumber's Log 1225. A slight detour from Hawaii land and a tropic sun, thanks to Toad.
And I wasn't
too.
prepared for it.
I love it though.
So the princess decides that she's going to give Toad his Christmas gift while they're out here in this frozen wasteland.
Which she has brought with her.
Yeah.
Because it is canonically Christmas time.
Yes. Which does make it a little strange that they were going to Hawaii, I feel like. Then again, I'd love to
Absolutely
go.
not.
No, I'd love to go to Hawaii for Christmas.
Exactly.
I love how Toad just, loses his mind when he hears the word presents.
Did someone say something about a present? I've always got time to get a Christmas present.
Toad is insufferable in this episode.
Yes. Absolutely. And I love that they let us know that he's been insufferable.
Yeah.
Because the princess is like,
After all your hints, I decided to give you just what you wanted.
You wouldn't shut up about it.
this is where Cooper shows up, and he flies overhead in his sleigh and drops bombs on them. And they almost die, but all Toad cares about is his snowboard. Did I even mention that it was a snowboard that the princess
You
gave
did
him?
not.
Okay, the princess gave him a snowboard, and all he cares about is that his snowboard is okay, and all his friends are mad that he cared about the snowboard more than them, which he freely admits was true.
I guess your present means more to you than we do.
Well,
He spent, especially the beginning, but the entire episode he spends talking about presents. So no one is surprised that this is where his mind lies.
Mm. He's like, he's got a little bit of shame about it, but he doesn't try to say that they're wrong. He's not
'Cause they're
like,
not.
he's not like, no, of course I care about you more than my snowboard. He's just like, but it's my snowboard.
This is my special present. Of course I care more.
So they realize that Cooper's going after Santa, and they rush to Santa's workshop, where everything and everyone is frozen solid.
This scene, both times I watched it, really made me want to play Paper Mario.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
But everything makes me want to play Paper Mario.
It made me laugh when we just see the reindeer, just frozen solid reindeer. And there's a part of me that just wanted the episode to end as they run up and see it, and the princess says, "We're too late!" You just end the episode there.
That's a boring episode.
I'm going to do an edit of the episode ending there.
We're
too late.
Do the Mario swing your arms from side to side.
No, we need the drama of the flurries and the cave of
Yeah.
wonders.
So they see Koopa flying away with a captive Santa on his sleigh. This is the point of the episode where I got tired of Bah Hum Coop.
Bah, hum coop.
Oh yeah, we haven't mentioned Bah Hum Coop, and I am angry that you did.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not funny. It's just like, I get it. It's a reference to Christmas Carol, but they tried to Koopify it.
It's not clever, and it wasn't funny the first 10 times.
No, that's the thing. I'd be okay with it if it was once. I'd still think it wasn't funny, but at least I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah.
But they really lay it on. They're like, guys, this is our best joke. You gotta say it 20 times.
We haven't written anything else.
Yeah, DreamWorks writing, as I call it.
Care to elaborate on that?
You watch any DreamWorks movie, you'll find that they have like 3 jokes that they repeat constantly through the entire movie. I feel like they don't do it as much anymore. The last time it was like super egregious was the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. There's like 3 jokes that you hear over and over again through the whole movie.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's annoying. I like that movie, but I wish they hadn't done that in it.
Just because you like something doesn't mean it's exempt from criticism.
Exactly. If you want to have a running joke, have it running like through a series, not through a single piece of media.
Not through a 10-minute gap.
Yeah. Like if they had taken a joke from How to Train Your Dragon 1 and put it in How to Train Your Dragon 2, I still think it was a little bit lazy, but I wouldn't be mad about it. But they put that joke 3 times in the first movie. It's just like you wrote half a script and then you couldn't figure out how to write another half, so you copy and pasted it. Anyway, I don't know stuff about this. This part really made me laugh because they go to this playground. There's apparently an elf playground at the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario has a plan to stop Koopa, which Luigi has to do all of.
Yeah, Mario just barks him around.
Yeah. He just stands over by the Tita Tata, barking orders at Luigi. And the whole time, like, Luigi's struggling with it. He tells him to go grab an ice cube, and the ice cube's really heavy, so Luigi struggles with it. And Mario doesn't help.
No.
I'm supposed to toss this to you? Then bring it to me.
So the one note that I took for this episode was after Luigi moves this very heavy ice block, and we just hear this deep guttural groan. It didn't even sound like the same character. It just sounded like agony, and I laughed so hard.
I don't think I noticed it, but I'll put it in here.
You have to. It's so good.
So they use the Tita Tata to... Well, Luigi uses the Tita Tata to launch this ice cube up at Koopa's sled. And it hits it, and Koopa and Santa fall out, and luckily, Koopa saves Santa's life on the way down.
Well, yeah, Koopa needs Santa as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, but, like, what was Mario's plan?
I see what you're getting at.
Well, if I can't save him, I'll take them both out.
If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
I love the energy that Super Show Mario has. Just this, like... It's like it was in the Mario 3 episode. Remember the part where he was just like, don't forget to tell him about this!
Yeah.
Mario and Luigi try to throw snowballs at Koopa, but he catches all of them in his sack and throws the sack back at them.
He uses that magic sack for a lot of very clever things.
He does, yeah. It's a
He
parachute.
he catches the wind with it and it propels him forward.
That was the cleverest one. Another thing that I genuinely laughed at was when Cooper sees them coming up behind him when he's at the top of a big hill.
Oh, yeah.
And he just grabs Santa and uses him as a sled.
That scene was incredible.
At that point, I was like, I think it might have been safer for Santa if they had just let Cooper take him on the sleigh.
They had just let him die.
Just sledding down a hill on Santa. who he puts face down in the snow.
And Santa just doesn't fight it.
He's all tied
Oh,
up.
it's
What
just
can he
my life,
do?
though. I don't know. Like, not even any verbal fight back. He's accepting his fate.
That's true. Has Santa even made any sounds at this point?
No, we don't hear his voice until the end of the episode.
That's true. I forgot to even check who played him. Cooper calls out a bunch of ice skating flurries, who actually look like snowmen this time.
Yeah, he said he had friends in this neck of the woods, and this gang of tiny, adorable things roll out.
Yeah, last time we saw them, they looked like sheet ghosts.
That's right.
Isn't it weird that, by pure coincidence, we've ended up watching 2 Iceland episodes of this show?
Well, we've only watched the first and the Christmas one, so maybe not quite as
Yeah, I mean,
small
I
of a
guess.
chance.
But, I mean, we could have come back to this show another time.
But we didn't.
I promise, Super Breakfast Friends Club is not an ice-themed podcast.
We're not fans of ice and cold in this podcast.
No, we're really not. We'll come back and watch the actual Hawaii Land episode at some point.
Good.
I don't know if there is one, but there should be.
There's got to at least be a desert episode. We
Yeah,
did see the angry sun in the other one.
that's true. We did see the Angry Sun. He was cool. That was the Mario 3 show. I'm going to get the Super Show and the Mario 3 show mixed up a lot because they're very
Me
similar.
too. I can't even remember the names of either of them.
It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, The Adventures of Super Mario Brothers 3. I remember that one because it's weird that it's The Adventures of the Game.
Games can have adventures too. That's what our podcast is about.
The one we haven't watched yet is Super Mario World, which is the one that has the theme song that I always remember.
Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World. Super Mario World. It's a blast from the past. It's Super Mario World. You got to move fast.
That song comes into my head all the time.
See, the song that I always remember is the ending theme of this show.
This one's good too.
It's not as good.
No, listen, it's really not catchy. It's a really bad song, but it's stuck in my head all the time. And it has been for 30 years at this point.
I understand. You've trauma bonded.
Yeah. The Flurries are wearing ice skates this time.
Yeah.
They don't wear ice skates in the game or in their artwork, but the manual says that they do.
So this is more true to the design than the actual game.
This is more true to the description, at least. Also, they do this thing in this episode where they use their ice skates to carve an ice block out of the ice and then kick
I
it.
loved it.
Didn't it? It felt like something that should happen in the game, didn't it?
Yes.
It
I thought
doesn't.
did.
No, they can't do that in the game, but it sure feels like they should be able to.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a video game feeling move.
Yeah. And after they do it, there's a little square cut out of the ice underneath them.
Yeah, it was really cute. They should be able to do that. If Flurries ever come back in a Mario game, I hope that gets added to their AI.
Super Mario Odyssey 2
Yeah.
Flurry Edition.
Yes, please.
I want to put my hat on one of those guys.
And a moustache.
Of course.
Oh, this is another part that really made me laugh. Where Cooper drags Santa into the cave.
And you just hear screaming.
You just hear a long echoing scream that slowly fades out.
We don't really figure out why.
And then Mario, like during the scream, Mario and his friends walk up and just like quietly wait for it to die away. Oh, it was so funny.
It was good.
And then, yeah, Mario and his friends follow them and they just fall down a long pit of concussions.
Yeah, it didn't make sense from a gameplay perspective.
No, they just kind of ricochet from wall to wall for no real reason.
0 out of 10 as far as realism goes.
Speaking of things that don't make sense, why is Cooper talking like a mobster in the next scene?
I got the jolly man, see? One false move and he goes over the cliff. And I got a feeling it won't be such a happy landing, see?
Because he's a big bad boss man who's trying to ruin Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Just like Bugsy Malone.
Yeah.
And then he screams Bar Humcoop so loud he causes an avalanche.
Good.
This is the one time I did laugh at Bar Humcoop because his delivery of it here is really funny. Harvey Atkin committed to this. He really screamed it.
If I have to say it one more time, I might as well put my all into it.
Yeah, that might have been the last time. Maybe he says it one more, I can't remember.
I did not keep a running Bahum Coop tally like I did in the Bugsy episode.
No, it was not quite as egregious. There's an avalanche going on, and Mario says he's going to save Santa with his plumber's snake.
I love how they've added plumber powers to this show.
Oh, yeah, I like it, and it makes sense, but...
It does.
I just, you know... How many YouTube poops came out of...
I'm gonna save Santa with my plumber snake!
I'm gonna guess a lot.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think plumber's snake is my least favorite plumber tool for them to use. Not only because of the euphemism, but it's just a lame plumber tool.
But he uses it like a cool Indiana Jones whip.
That's true. But I prefer it more when he's using like a wrench or a plunger.
Mm-hmm.
Though, if I remember rightly, Mario calls his plunger his plumber's helper. And I don't know, is that a thing? For the longest time, I just thought plungers were called plumber's helpers in America, but I don't think they are.
I've never heard it.
No.
I'm not a plumber, so I can't confirm or deny, but as an American, we just call them plungers.
Yeah. I've definitely come to that conclusion now, because I've never heard anyone besides Mario call it a plumber's helper.
Are you calling Mario a liar?
Maybe that's just like industry terms. We just don't know them.
That's the jargon.
Yeah, that's how they stop like clients from just going out and buying their own. Like, we can't let them know this is called a plunger, or they'll just go to the store and ask for a plunger.
They'll plunge their own toilets, and then what are we going to do?
Exactly.
How are we going to find the secret warp pipe to the Mushroom Kingdom?
We can't let this client know that there's a secret warp pipe to the Mushroom Kingdom in their bathtub. So I'm just going to put a U-bend around it.
I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, does that mean that the Mushroom Kingdom is full of exclusively gamer girl bathwater? It's a very lucrative kingdom.
That's how they ended up with Peach. She is a mushroom. She's just a mushroom that was doused in gamer girl bathwater.
In royal bathwater.
Anyway, once Mario has saved Santa, Koopa asks, "What about me?"
I'm sorry, I was just stuck on that sentence. Once Mario has saved Santa.
Yeah. So Mario, he like turns to Koopa with a smile on his face and like claps his hands together. And I thought he was trying to make the avalanche worse.
Oh no, I understood it as him trying to tell him to dive.
I did not. I realized afterwards from context, because I was like, Koopa seems to have taken that as a signal that he should jump. But I didn't understand. I had to go back and watch it again and realize that, yeah, he puts his hands together in a diving pose. But to me, it just looked like he was clapping, and I was like, is he trying to kill Koopa?
Yeah, because like normally when you think of a diving pose, it goes above your head, but Mario does it like at chest level, pointing down.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense if he's diving down, but
It does, but it was a little weird.
Yeah, I can see where that's something that probably worked better in the script, but then an animator had to figure out how to stage it. Anyway, Koopa jumps into the water and he laments his situation sitting on an ice floe. And this is where I thought of Bubsy, because he says, what else could go wrong? And, you know.
What could possibly go wrong?
And then a polar bear with the most horrible Yeti howl I've ever heard shows up.
Yeah, there's just a polar bear. Just like in Mario 2.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a polar bear anywhere in the whole Mario series. I'm sure I'm wrong. There has to be one
I
somewhere,
was about
right?
to say, wait a second. Yes, there was, but then I realized I was thinking about Banjo-Kazooie.
Was there a polar bear in Banjo-Kazooie?
Yeah, there were several.
Oh, of course there were. Yeah, Boggy and his kids. I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I can't think of a Mario one off the top of my head. With the amount of stuff that Mario has, I feel like there has to be one. But I don't know him.
I've never met him.
Yeah. So they take Mario and they take Santa. And they get back to Santa's workshop where everything is still frozen. And they're just like resigned to it.
Yeah, there's nothing we could do. Christmas is in 2 hours and it's ruined forever.
They've got no ideas to fix the fact that everything's frozen besides just like waiting for something to thaw at the North Pole.
Which is kind of wild for two guys who routinely spit fireballs from their hands.
Right? We already know that fire flowers exist at random in this world. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. But Santa just immediately goes to...
There will be no Christmas this year.
Oh yeah, he has been through a rough day. So by the time things cool down, he's still just miserable.
And I know it. There are days when I come home and I just don't want to get any work done. I'm like, I'm taking a me day. But Santa only works one day of the year.
The elves do all the work. Well, he's got to be there cracking the whip.
I guess so. Yeah, cracking the plumber's snake. And like all of this sadness is going on and Toad just does not give a shit.
No, because Toad's like, I got my present. Later, losers. And he snowboards off.
I love that that's not an exaggeration in any way.
No, it's real life.
It really does. The only thing missing is a pair of like sunglasses. But then I think the princess explains to this morally broken Toad exactly what's going on and why it's bad.
He's like, yeah, Toad, you got a present, but what about literally everyone else?
Yeah. And then once Toad realizes that Santa doesn't have any presents to give, he gives Santa his snowboard. And
oh my god, this part.
Okay, so first of all, this didn't feel earned at all to me.
No.
Because they could have at least had, like... They needed to have Toad at least have a moment of hesitation about giving up his snowboard, but he doesn't even have that. He's immediately just like, here it is. But once he hands it over... Santa says that in all of his immortal life, He's never seen anybody express the spirit of Christmas better than Toad.
Santa starts crying over this display of selflessness.
Toad, who 10 minutes prior was more worried about his snowboard than his friends' lives.
Toad, who 10 seconds prior didn't even care that anybody else wasn't getting Christmas that year.
No, this is the most raw display of Christmas spirit that Santa has seen in his hundreds of years delivering presents.
The spirit of Christmas is so warm within him that it thaws the workshop.
Yeah, he starts to glow. Also, here's a line that I need to put in because it's not said with fear in the episode, but I couldn't help imagining it being said with fear.
Look, the spirit of Christmas giving is touching everything.
Yeah, Santa begins transforming into his final form. I love, we don't get to see Santa during all of this. The whole time, he's just an all-encompassing glow that's always just off screen.
Mm-hmm.
So my assumption is that our human minds could not comprehend seeing his biblically accurate form.
How you cannot gaze upon a form of Cthulhu without going mad.
Exactly.
Santa is an eldritch horror. Confirmed.
I've never seen him portrayed like this, and I want to know more. To me, that was the most interesting part of this whole thing. It's the way when Santa is touched by the spirit of Christmas, he just apparently glows so hard that you can't even put him on screen anymore.
Because he'll give everybody seizures like a Porygon.
As a special gift, Santa, after returning to his normal form, offers to allow Mario and his friends to perform free labor for him. That's what it is, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh,
it's like, you guys can come and do my heavy lifting.
I saw you in that playground earlier, Mario, and it gave me an idea.
I saw you working your brother like a dog, and I thought that's the kind of man I need in my workshop.
So I looked it up, and Santa was played by John Stocker, who also plays Toad.
Okay.
So that whole scene of the spirit of Christmas giving was just that one guy talking to himself.
It was just masturbatory, is what you're saying.
Well, I think he would have needed to have written it as well for it to be truly masturbatory, but... and apparently in the original airing, this final scene also played Jingle Bell Rock. But not no more.
I like the music that they added.
Was it Mario music, or was it something
I don't
new?
think it was. I think it was just like some kind of game-adjacent music.
It's probably a song... I know they used songs from elsewhere in the series, and I think a couple times they even used a song from Captain N to replace the licensed music. It was replaced with a song called What Goes Up, which is apparently from the Super Mario Bros. 3 episode Up, Up, and a Koopa.
Okay.
So that's what it was, if you want to listen to it. I'll probably play a little bit of it here.
Unless we get a copyright strike.
No, I only get those from the Evangelion people these days. That's the only one we've had in a long time.
I feel like it's going to be a recurring villain in our lives.
Yeah, I think
so. For the same clip.
Yeah. I'm almost surprised they didn't claim the honk version.
That's fair use.
Like, the Pokemon Company used to be a villain that I was worried about, but apparently they've whitelisted us, so we're good.
The fact that they have whitelisted this show.
I know.
Do they know what we do here?
I feel like they probably listened to maybe a little bit of one episode and they were like, oh, they're saying nice things about the show. Whitelist them. Because we said nice things about the first Pokemon episode.
We weren't mean about the second. Oh,
No.
we've watched a few Pokemon episodes.
Yeah, we've done 3. We were a little mean about the Pokemon Advanced one. A little
Well,
bit. But maybe they should have made a better episode.
we were critical of it. We
Yes.
weren't mean to it.
That's true. I feel like we're never unfair on this show. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but
I feel like I have been quite unfair. I
Wait.
feel like I go into some shows like, no, I hate it. I don't know what it is, but I hate it.
do you have any specific examples?
Bubsy.
Really? I feel like we were fair to Bubsy. Bubsy's another one of those shows where even the creator dissed it, so
That's true. I don't know. I feel like I was maybe mean to the first episode of this show. I was thinking about it when I was watching it because I had so much more fun watching this episode than the first one. So I was like, was I just really determined to dislike this show?
I don't think you were mean to the first one. I think maybe we were a little bit meaner to Super Mario Brothers 3. But I don't think we were mean to this one.
Maybe.
It's been a long time.
I don't watch this show.
People listening, let us know if you thought we were mean. Let us know which episodes you thought we were mean to. Maybe we
What
were...
is the meanest episode we've ever done?
Yeah, when did we really... I can tell you the ones that I can tell you the episodes where we upset people. That was Sonic Underground and Bubsy. They're the ones where we upset fans of the shows. But
Allegedly. We don't know why we got those thumbs down.
I will again reiterate that the mean tone on both of those shows was set by the show's creators.
That's true. Both of the creators of those shows didn't like them.
No. The head writer of Sonic Underground hated it.
I feel like we are the morally correct ones in this situation.
Yeah, I think so too. Anyway, we're talking like we're done with this, and we're only halfway through.
Oh, we haven't even done the live action part
there's
yet.
a whole live action part. Also, I didn't mention something that it was so stupid. Like, I wasn't mad about it because it was so stupid that it came back around to, like, hilarious. But Santa signs off the animated episode.
Yes.
By saying,
Mario Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
That was much better than Bahum Coop.
It was better, but it was worse. I think it was better because it was worse.
Stupid, and I loved it.
Because Bahum Coop is like nothing. There's nothing good about it, but it's not bad enough that it's funny. This was bad enough that it was funny. Mario Christmas. It's so stupid. So anyway, we're back to the live action Mario Brothers, who are feeding Brian pizza. I don't know about you, but after I watched this episode, I bought myself a pizza.
I would have, but I pretty much went straight to bed afterwards. I knew that we had a little bit of a time crunch as far as recording, so I was like, I'm going to make sure I get this episode at the very least watched tonight. I'm not going to take any notes, but I need to know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So I put it on last night. I barely made it through and then just conked out.
At the very beginning of this scene, they are treating it quite seriously. Like, there's no jokes for the first couple shots. But you can tell the audience are really awkward with that idea. Because there's a part where they, like, the audience really want to laugh, but there's no jokes. So they do this, like, awkward, quiet laugh. Because they feel like they should, I guess.
Sorry, guys. I've made up my mind. I'll teach my parents to appreciate me.
Like, but it's the Mario Brothers. Why aren't they laughing?
Yeah. So Mario tells us the serious story of how he ran away when they were kids
Oh my god! And we get a flashback, and it's just the same actors, but in like short suspenders and those propeller caps. And Luigi's removed his mustache.
Yeah, so Lou Albano's mustache is real. So he still has one as a child, but but Danny Wells's mustache is fake, so he's removed it.
I was so in love with Luigi in this one. That actor is great.
He's a really good Luigi. It's funny how live action Mario and Luigi have a really different relationship than animated Mario and Luigi do.
Yes.
Because in the animated segments, it feels like Luigi is the dominant. No, in the animated segments, Mario is clearly the dominant brother.
Mm-hmm.
But in the live action ones, I feel like Luigi is more of the dominant one between the two of them.
Yeah.
But they're both great. I really like both of these actors as Mario and Luigi.
So they're little boys.
They're little boys. They've had a race, which Mario has won. And then Mario's mom enters the room. Her arm enters the room.
We never see her face.
Yes.
So we never get to see that it's a man in a wig.
I looked into this because I was curious. Okay, so apparently this is Mama Mario's 5th appearance on the show, and it won't be her last one.
Good.
The reason we don't see her face in this episode is because she is played by Lou Albano.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, I did too. That's why I looked it up. Because not yet, but later on in the episode when Mario comes back and she's talking, I was like, is that just Lou Albano doing like a high-pitched voice?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it is.
How many times do I have to tell you not to fight?
Good, I love it.
So he still plays her voice here, but there's a body double who
Uh-huh.
is not really a double of his body in any way.
No, a much, much taller person.
Yeah, taller, skinnier man. But yeah, we've missed her introduction, and we've missed a whole bunch of Mama Mario episodes. But
We're
I'm
gonna
sure,
have to go back and specifically watch the Mama Mario episodes.
yeah, at least the first one I want to see.
Me too.
I have to read to you this while I was researching who played Mama Mario. I obviously ended up on the Mario wiki.
As you do.
And regular viewers of the show may know this. I'm a big fan of wikis, not because they're useful sources of information, which they are, usually, but mostly because of the kind of pedantic people that maintain wikis.
The kind of obscure information that they catalog.
And not even that, but the kind of stuff that they refuse to say on a wiki. Like, if it hasn't got, like, 5 citations. Or sometimes, like, Gemerald from Sonic the Hedgehog is a really good example of this. His name was initially mistranslated as Gmel.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically a poor romanization of his name. Because it's Gemerald, but the way that's spelled in Japanese, you could translate it as Gmail if you wanted to. But because it had been written as that once, even though there were like 15 later examples of them writing Gemerald in official products, they were like, nope, the Japanese thing said it was Gmail, so we're insisting that his name is Gmail. And then when he came into the comics and was named Gemerald, they were like, well, this is a separate character whose name is Gemerald.
Why? Why is that easier for you to do than to just accept that it was a mistranslation?
I know. It's so funny, though. You know how much I love stuff like that.
I know.
So here is, along those similar lines, here is a sentence from the Mario Wiki about Mama Mario, I mean. Mama Mario's connection to Mario and Luigi's father is unclear, but the two are shown to live together in all of Papa's appearances.
I'm sorry. What? We're not quite sure the relationship between Mario and Luigi's parents.
Yeah.
They're biological parents.
Because it's never expressly stated that they're married, even though they live together, they will not put that on the wiki.
They could be co-parenting.
They could be, but why would you not just assume they're a couple, you know?
You mean for a kid show in the 90s?
They live together, and they are the biological parents of Mario and Luigi, but we don't want to assume that there's any relationship here.
Oh, why?
I love that it's not even like that her relationship with their father is unclear. It's that her connection to their father is unclear. I think if they had 2 kids together, there's a pretty clear connection that's been made, at least at some point.
At least twice.
Anyway. So, young Mario decides he's going to run away. And Luigi seems to be down with that.
Mario runs away because he's been punished for
Oh, right.
being loud and noisy.
Yes, I forgot. And at first, I had to watch this part twice because at first I didn't understand why Mario was the one getting punished.
Mm-hmm.
But she does specifically say that he's getting punished because he's the oldest and he should know better.
Mario, since you're the oldest, you should know better. You're grounded.
I'd say that's not fair, but, I'm not Mama Mario. She can parent her children however she wants. I love that after he runs away, it just cuts to this wild-eyed Mario
in the streets
telling us about the Zelda cartoon.
He says he's scared that he ran away, so he's gonna do what he does when he gets scared, and that's watch ads for The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. But I realized that it's because he's trying to look scared and he's also trying to read a cue card that's on the ground. But his wild eyes were so funny to me. And the delivery of it is also really stunted. You can tell this was like the last thing they filmed before they went home and they just wanted to get it done.
I'm so scared, maybe I shouldn't have run away from home. I know, I'll do what I do whenever I'm scared. Watch these scenes from the next Legend of Zelda.
You're still in the kid clothes. Let's just get this over with.
So the version that we watched didn't have the Zelda ad in it. But I went and I tracked down the Zelda ad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a strong bad email.
How?
I have to show it to you. Hang on.
This is the Triforce of Wisdom, Link. The evil wizard Ganon has the Triforce of Power. Whoever gets both Triforces will rule this land forever. You must help me, Link.
Hey, for you, Zelda, anything.
That one's got a bomb.
On the way, princess.
What in the world?
Farewell, princess.
Nothing doing, Buster.
Nothing doing, Buster.
You've still got work to do.
So, Link and Zelda are headed for the Black Falls.
What is with this snake tornado? What in the world? I do love that Link has heart boxers on. The classic heart boxers. That was bonkers.
Yeah, doesn't it feel like a limousine, but they're in space or something?
That one's got a bomb.
It's so funny. Like, I say it feels like something the Brothers Chaps would have made, but I'm sure it's because they were inspired by this stuff.
Probably.
When they made that stuff. But
That's what they watched growing up.
yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that I tracked that down because it's the funniest thing in this whole episode.
It's well worth it. So after the ad bumper, then we're back at Mario and Luigi's house where they're still talking to Brian and assuring him that the family was very broken up about Mario leaving.
Yeah, and Luigi makes it clear to us that was not true.
And it's made doubly clear when we get a flashback of Luigi being very glad that Mario is gone.
Luigi and Mama Mario both very happy that without Mario there, they have more popcorn for themselves and more space on the couch. This is just our glimpse into the dark, abusive past of the Mario family, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But then Mario comes home.
Yeah. You know, I didn't really know what to make of the conversation he has with his mama.
It's a little weird.
Because it's like, she doesn't miss him, but then she says she did miss him, and then she hits him.
Like, she doesn't miss how noisy and messy he is, but she missed him.
Yeah.
Mama, did you miss me?
No, I don't miss your yelling. I didn't miss your fighting with your brother. And I didn't miss your room in a mess. But you I miss.
Mama. What was that for, Mama?
Just in case.
Yeah, so, you know. But in the end, the message that Brian takes from Mario's story is that he shouldn't run away because that's what his parents want.
Yeah, they'll enjoy it too much.
Yeah. I guess if it gets him home, job done.
Yeah, good job, Mario Brothers.
So Brian leaves to go on to his future as a rock guitarist who has been arrested several times.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't look at what his arrests were for, but... Oh, did you notice so they always kind of throw in sound effects almost at random in these live action parts. But there's a particularly weird one when Mario asks Brian if he learned anything.
Yeah, but have you learned a lesson, Brian?
Huh?
I didn't notice it enough to make a mental note of it.
Okay, I did. Anyway, Brian leaves. Do the Mario!
Swing your arms from side to side.
Come on, it's time to go do the Mario!
Take one step. And then again.
All together now.
That's my favorite part. And then again.
Me too. Clearly nobody wrote that.
And also, I know I definitely will have mentioned it last time, but I don't know if you will have noticed it more this time. But the fact that Mario stumbles a little bit at the end of the dance.
I didn't notice.
Oh, it's always the first thing I think of when I think of Do the Mario.
Usually I've stopped watching the dance part and I'm just feeling the vibe of the song by that point.
Yeah. I think that's why so many people didn't notice, because it happens at the very end and nobody's still watching by then.
Oh, I'm
except
watching
me.
it now, though.
Are you looking at it now?
I sure am. Because he goes through so many different, like, sizes and closeness to the screen. So my attention deficit brain is gone by that point.
At first I thought maybe it was just because they reused part of the footage and then going back to the beginning of his jump made it look like he stumbled. But no, he actually does stumble.
Yes, he does. He lost his footing.
I told you. It's great.
That just makes it so much more endearing.
I know. That's what I love about it. He stumbled and they left it in. Should we do another take? No.
Lou is tired.
That was like a full minute of dancing. I'm not doing that again. Because they probably didn't know that it was going to be cutting to move him around.
Yeah.
So they will have wanted it as just one extended take of him dancing. Well, I don't know that we have anything more to say about this.
There was no legacy specifically of Koopa Claus.
You know what? I wonder if the Hawaiian outfit that he has in Mario Odyssey is similar to this one. Let me look it up. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so it's not the same.
No.
It's the same in spirit, but not in anything else.
But visually, not at all.
No, not even close. So I'm going to go ahead and say there's no legacy of this episode.
The hat is the same, though.
Okay, it's similar. I don't know. I feel like the one from the episode is bigger and cooler.
That sounds like a nitpick.
Yeah, okay.
I wish Santa was Mario canon.
Well, there's a Santa outfit in Mario Odyssey.
That's not the same.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I hate it when they put Mario in Mario. I hate it when they put Santa in Christmas specials. How many times have I substituted Santa for a different character's name in this episode?
Several.
I know it's been Mario several times, but I also called him Koopa once, I'm pretty sure.
You called Koopa Santa.
That's right. It's the part of my brain that is just like refusing to accept Santa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it when they put Santa in things. I don't like it when they're like, yeah, Santa's real and he's in this episode.
I do and I don't because it's so stupid and like it makes me think of things like Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, where it's just so cuckoo.
Okay, I do like that though. Yeah, I like stuff like do you remember the Invader Zim Christmas special?
No.
It's like all about Santa, but they never say Santa's real. It's always like they treat it like Santa is like an old hero who vanished and they're all awaiting his return. I love
the one
stuff
they
like
speak
that.
of in legends.
Yeah, that's really funny. And then Zim capitalizes on that by pretending to be Santa, and everyone's like, Santa, you've returned to us.
He's risen.
Yeah. That's what I like. I like stuff like that. Or like, I don't mind it when there's a guy who like might be Santa.
Like the Twilight Zone episode?
I haven't seen it. You know about my struggles to watch the Twilight Zone.
I know, that's why I bring it up all the time, to try and bully you into watching it.
No, I want to watch it. I just can't find it.
I know it's not a lack of desire.
There's probably a DVD set I can get or something, but it's not on any streaming service here that I know of.
I'm trying to remember. For a while it was on Netflix here.
I know, yeah. Well, because Netflix did their own new one, didn't they?
Was that Netflix?
I think it
I thought
was.
that was a different thing.
Oh,
The Jordan Peele one.
yeah. I thought it was Netflix. Because I think
don't
Netflix had the new one, but they didn't have the old one here. Was it the opposite there?
I have no idea. I only watched a couple episodes of the new one, and I don't remember what I watched it on.
TV.
Technically, it was displaying on a television monitor. Which is odd, because usually I'm watching it on my tiny little phone screen or my itty-bitty laptop.
Yeah. I know that about you.
I have a TV in my bedroom and I don't use it. I just found out this week that the batteries in my remote are so old they've corroded.
My TV remote battery has stopped working, and I changed the battery and it still doesn't work. So I don't know what happened, but it was something bad. So when I want to play my Switch now, I have to use the Wii U gamepad as the TV remote. It's like, oh, I want to play the Switch, better turn on the Wii U.
The only use for the Wii U in the year 2022.
Hey, you can use it to play Wii games. No, I actually love the Wii U. I know it gets a bad rap, but It's a
Honestly,
really-
I do regret missing the Wii U era just because of the virtual console.
the virtual console for it was really good, yeah. But also, like, for the first, like, 3 years of the Wii... for the first 3 years or so of the Switch, every good Switch game, apart from a couple, were just ports of Wii U games.
True.
So I get really mad when everybody's like... People are always like, I remember the Wii U. Man, that didn't have any games. And I'm like, you are playing Wii U games on your Switch and you love them.
Even if the Wii U didn't have like exclusive games, which clearly it did, the fact that it could play Wii games and like every other Nintendo system game ever is not to be ignored.
Yeah, I think everything except the GameCube, I think, which is ironic because the original Wii could play the GameCube. Yeah, I bought a bunch of DS and Game Boy Advance games on the Wii U because it's like the only place they had a virtual console for those.
Mm.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody.
For joining us into this chilly dive into the frigid Arctic waters to save Santa Claus.
Yeah, we did it. You know, I suddenly don't remember anything that happened in the episode.
That's okay, we recorded already.
Okay, good. Join us next time when we do something different than this.
Wow!
You can find us on patreon.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club if you want to give us some Christmas joy.
We're the Salvation Army standing outside, making you feel uncomfortable and jingling our little bell.
Or you can also find us at coffee.com/Super Breakfast Friends Club if you want to give us a smaller amount of Christmas joy.
You're gonna have to put it directly in our bucket while we make eye contact with you.
I've been ringing this bell so hard there isn't even a clangor in it no more.
I make the ding-a-ling with my mouth.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Ding-dong, friends.
You can find us at Twitter at sbreakfastfc.com. Come over and look at the pictures that Mel drew while we were recording this episode.
It's not as elaborate this time.
No, but it's
I
still
wasn't
good.
taken by the madness.
Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. Mom?
Still our most die-hard patron.
Thanks,
no
Mom.
one can ever defeat Mike's mom
I love
in
you, Mom.
friendship.
I thought you were going to say in French. Any other language and they'll be fine, but in French? No.
Forget about it.
She only wins the fight in the French dub.
They had some strange edits in the French version, but I think that it came out better that way.
Bye!
Mario Christmas, everyone!
Thank God my snowboard's still alive.
That was too accurate. Don't do that again.